Welcome everyone. So we have something also in testing hypothesis, we call it significance level. We call the probability of rejecting a true null hypothesis making a wrong decision, or alpha. So alpha is the probability of making an error or the significance level. And we call it type 1 error or false positive. And we call the probability of accepting a false null hypothesis making a wrong decision alpha, and we call it type 2 error or false negative. So for example, when we say the mean price of homes in California is greater than $500,000, and actually it was correct, but mistakenly we made the wrong decision. We accept null hypothesis. And you remember, alpha can take several confidence levels. We can test in 10%, 5%, or 1%. When the study is crucial and need a precise results, we use 1%. And the examples of that when we test the impact of a new medicine on people. And in social and financial studies, such as an average salary or price, we usually use 5%. And the good news here, we can use Z and T distributions to test the hypothesis. Z when sample size is greater than 30 observations and population mean is known, and T when sample size is less than 30 observations and population mean is unknown. And we have two types of hypothesis. The first one is a one-tailed test of hypothesis. And that's when we use less than or greater than. So the test of the hypothesis in this case will be on one side. So for example, if you are testing a hypothesis at 95% confidence level, alpha in this case equal 5%. And we are using it as 5%. We are not dividing it into two parts, right and left, either less or greater than. So based on that, Z value here is 1.649. If we find the value of Z greater than this value, or in this red part, we reject the null hypothesis. But if the value that we found is less than this value, 1.645, we do not reject the null hypothesis. In other words, when the value is located in this part, that means we accept alternative hypothesis. And this is an example for a two-tailed test of hypothesis. And this hypothesis when we use equal instead of greater than or less than. So in this scenario, when we test mu equals 60 or doesn't equal 60, in this case we will have two sides for the hypothesis. We'll have the right side and the left side. And now we divide alpha by 2, as you remember in the confidence interval. So for 5% confidence level, alpha by 2 equals 0.025 in each side. And in this case, we'll have 1.96 on the right side and minus 1.96 on the left side. We reject null hypothesis when the calculated Z value is located in either of these two red areas. And we don't reject the null hypothesis if the value of Z is located here.